Morgan.
Well, utter shock, first of all. Last I knew, he was shot in the chest and left for dead. And it's just a surprise because I think that China's been operating in the system that the Jing has set up. And I think that that's a system that China can understand. It's sort of a corporate structure. And I feel like he can find agency in that way. And so the Morgan element of it, he didn't that's the rest. That throws a huge wrench into the way he's trying to operate and use the people, you name it, to gain some sort of agency within yourself. So I think it's a surprise element, and it throws a little wrench in the old plans.
Okay, what does it say about Morgan, where he's at now, Lenny, that he killed all these Rangers?
I think it's proof positive that he's not just talking the talk, he's also walking the walk. I think it is a measure of just how dangerous a man it is, and I think that the way they manifested that in this episode gave it the full weight that it kind of deserved to a certain extent, because you didn't see him do it. You learn what he's done, and then when you backtrack and think about it, he walked into the middle of, I think it's 8 or 9 Rangers with his axe-headed stick, and they're on horseback and they're armed, and he took them all out. And left them to turn. And that puts Morgan in whatever you see on the exterior of the man, that is a measure of what is going on inside him and what his determination is and how far he's willing to go in order to carry out his mission. Because that's dark.
It's really dark, and you can see the moment it happens earlier in the season when the bounty hunter says, "You're not gonna kill me," and Morgan just takes his head off with his own weapon. Which, by the way, I think we could refer to as axe headroom. Can we just call it axe headroom from now on? Thank you. Okay,
I like axe headroom.
One of the things that it's always fun to be like a long-time fan of The Walking Dead is like, how do they up the game each season? How do they show us walkers we haven't seen? And the creepy taxidermied, augmented, like, deer head and weird eye and patchwork walkers was the kind of thing where my wife Lydia, and Coleman, you know her, was like, oh yeah, I want one of those. Like she wants a crazy walker head with the antlers and the weird eyes and everything.
I mean, why not? Right?
So we spoke to Fear the Walking Dead's Ian Goldberg and Andrew Chambliss, who are the showrunners and executive producers, about Ed and his creations, and they wanted to share this exclusive with the fans. So this is from Ian and Andrew. We've talked about how with these anthology episodes we can tell stories in different genres, and this episode we were leaning toward horror, and in particular Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We named the character Ed after Ed Gein, the real-life serial killer who inspired Chainsaw, and the taxidermic walkers were an outgrowth from that kernel of an idea. What would you like to see a walker accessorized with that we haven't seen before? Lenny, is there anything that you feel like the show has had to do?
Oh, wow.
My brain was just totally weird.
Yeah, my brain was all over the place as well. I'm going to say not quite like. I'd be interested to see walkers augmented with weapons. Mm-hmm. That somehow just their movement either makes bullets fly, or that their body, a bit like the taxidermy guy Ed did, but actually it's with weapons and scissor hands.
What about you?
It would be interesting to see some really, that demographic of people who get a lot of plastic surgery done and have had augmented breasts, augmented butts, and just see those walkers and see a walker with
it's on one of those like plastic surgery nightmare shows.
Still with, I feel like that would be a true nightmare to see, like, a walker with a big old horn or like big old fake boobs. You know what I mean? I feel like you don't even want to see that.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to have more with Lenny and Coleman. We're going to learn what's in store for the second half of the season for Fear the Walking Dead. And then later, we're going to be joined by the Walking Dead World Beyond cast. But first, before you realize that Grace has been in a shed the entire season so far, let's slow things down and take a final farewell from all those we've lost tonight. I'm here with Lenny Coleman. Lenny, what do you think is going through Morgan's mind when Alicia threatens to leave with Dakota and Charlie?
It's actually, that moment is, I think, an example of the saving grace of Morgan in where he's at, that he hasn't gone too far, that he hasn't felt that he's in charge in that way, that he can't force them to stay with him, and that whatever rage and violence he has, he's not directed it towards people that he cares about. He hasn't lost himself that much. I think the fact that he says, I can't watch you walk away from me again, is a measure of how much they mean to him. And he says it doesn't work if we're not all there together, and that's what he's set his sights on, and that's what he's working towards.
And it is interesting that he does have hope. Like, this is Battle Morgan, but he also has hope for the future. But it is interesting that Dwight brings up a very good point at one point during the season where he says, how many times have we heard this before, you know? Where it's like, no, but this place will be the place. Why do you think he's so convinced that this place will be the place?
I think because it's the first place that is naturally safe. You know, it's not on the map. It's, you know, you could walk straight past it and not know that it's there. It will be hard to invade. I think we've got genuinely fear that he's found a place from which we can decide what our futures are. And I absolutely, I smiled every time Dwight said that line. You know, we've heard all this before, and that's part of Morgan's mission, is to convince everybody that this time it's different, because it is.
How do you feel about the difference between Fran, Alicia, and Morgan? It's like we're starting to see these characters we love kind of have competing motives, I guess, is a good way to put that.
I think it's actually compelling to see characters care about at a crossroads with each other. The idea of holding weapons up to each other. And I think it's also a unit. And I think that we're talking about that, like, you know, who build the weapons first, and why, and then who backs down. So we really want to get that right, because I think it should be kind of painful as well. I think it's painful for the characters to see, like, oh, these people who are my people would be willing to, hey, kill me. And I have to say, I might be able to do that too. And I think the thing that I know about Strand is that he's naturally not that person. But I think that he will fight for his survival. Even if I hurt him. I think the thing that hurts the most is the Alicia.
Guys, let them know.
But also Morgan, because he knows what the Morgan that he really wouldn't do that. But it's a different Morgan. I think we're approaching each other. These are different versions of ourselves. And I think even in that moment, we're like, oh, you're able to do that.